Level 1, the amateur. Before fame, money, and stadiums filled with tens of thousands of fans, football begins here, on the small local pitches where the game still feels pure. The amateur level is where almost every football journey starts. There's no transfer market, no agents, and definitely no big salaries, just people playing for the love of it. You'll find these matches everywhere, in muddy parks, on concrete cages, on school fields surrounded by fences. Sometimes the grass is uneven, the goals are broken, and the ball's half flat, but no one cares. Amateurs don't play for contracts or trophies. They play because football gives them something nothing else does: energy, community, and freedom. During the week, they're students, shop workers, builders, or office employees. But come the weekend, they transform, tape their ankles, pull on their team kits, and give everything for 90 minutes. The games might only attract a few people watching from the sidelines, a couple of family members, or someone's dog running onto the pitch. But to them, it matters. That one goal, that one save, that one win, it's everything. And if you've ever played in one of these matches, you know the feeling. The excitement when you score, the frustration when you miss, the jokes shared in the changing room afterwards. It's football at its most human. Every legend you know, from Messi to Ronaldo, started here. Messi used to dribble around the streets of Rosario with a ball almost bigger than him. Ronaldo played barefoot on an island pitch in Madeira, kicking around makeshift balls with his friends. Before they became icons, they were just kids who couldn't stop playing. This level teaches you everything: teamwork, patience, humility, and the simple joy of kicking a ball. Most people will never move beyond it, and that's fine. Because even if you never play professionally, you still get what football gives everyone: connection, passion, and escape. When you watch the pros on TV, it's easy to forget where it all begins. But every single time a kid plays in the park, or a group of friends meets up on a Sunday morning, the spirit of football lives again. That's what makes the amateur level special. It's not about who's watching, it's about who's playing. Level 2, the professional. For most people, becoming a professional footballer sounds like the dream. But for thousands of players around the world, it's not luxury, it's survival. These are the players you don't always hear about. They're not in highlight reels or on magazine covers, but they train every single day, travel long distances, and play for clubs that rely on small crowds and even smaller budgets. They've made it into the system, but they're constantly fighting to stay there. Contracts are short, wages are modest, injuries can change everything. They live in a cycle of early morning training, bus journeys to away games, and nights in budget hotels before match day. Think of Jamie Vardy before Leicester, working a factory job and playing non-league football while waiting for his break. Or Adebayo Akinfenwa, the Beast, who became a lower league icon because of his strength and personality. Players like these represent thousands more who never reach the top divisions but dedicate their entire lives to the game. They're professionals, but their reality is very different from the superstars. There's no private jet, no massive sponsorship deals, just commitment. Every match is a chance to keep their dream alive. For them, football is a job, but it's also an identity. They play through pain, through bad weather, through pressure most people can't see. They know how easily it could all disappear. And that's what keeps them hungry. They might never win a major trophy or trend on social media, but they're the ones who make football possible at every level above. Level 3, the star. At this level, a footballer finally steps into the spotlight. They've broken through to the top divisions, they're on TV every week, and fans around the world know their names. These are the stars, players who have proven their ability, but are still chasing consistency. They've made it to the big stage, but are not untouchable yet. You'll find them at clubs competing in the Premier League, La Liga, Serie A, or representing their country in major tournaments. They score goals, create highlights, and inspire millions of young players, but they also live under a microscope. One good season can make them world famous. One poor season can make people forget them. Players like Jack Grealish, Marcus Rashford, Federico Chiesa, or João Felix fit this category. They're extremely talented, capable of producing magic moments, but they still have to prove they can do it every week. Being a star means constant attention. Every haircut, every interview, every missed chance becomes news. They have sponsorships, millions of followers, and fans who adore them. But with that comes pressure and expectation. Stars are at the crossroads of football careers. From here, they either rise into the elite level, where greatness becomes normal, or fade into being remembered as almost there. They're young, ambitious, and still learning what it takes to handle both fame and performance. For beginners watching the game, these are often the players who feel most relatable, skilled enough to inspire, human enough to make mistakes. The life of a star player looks glamorous, but it's also demanding. They play 3 matches a week, travel across countries, and face endless media coverage. To survive here, you need more than talent. You need discipline, confidence, and mental strength. The star level is where dreams meet reality. You've made it to the top, but now the world expects you to stay there. Level 4, the elite. At this level, consistency is everything. These are the players who've been world-class for years, not because of one great season, but because excellence has become their normal. The elite don't rely on form, they create it. They perform under pressure, lead by example, and rarely make mistakes. They are the reason tactics work, the foundation that keeps teams functioning at the highest level. Watch Kevin De Bruyne pick passes no one else can see. Or Luka Modric, now leading AC Milan's midfield in his late 30s, proving intelligence ages better than speed. Think of Rodri, who reads the game like a chess grandmaster, or Virgil van Dijk, whose presence alone changes how opponents attack. Add Casemiro, a warrior in midfield, Mohamed Salah, still producing 20-goal seasons, and Harry Kane, redefining the modern striker with goals and playmaking combined. They're not the flashiest, they're the most dependable. When they play, their teams feel organized, confident, and balanced. When they're missing, everything feels off. The elite take care of every detail: diet, recovery, sleep, and discipline. They understand that being at the top isn't about motivation, it's about maintenance. They might not dominate social media, but they dominate results. For beginners learning the game, this level represents the meaning of world class. It's about influence, not fame, about doing it every week, not just when the spotlight shines. These are the players coaches trust, teammates rely on, and opponents respect. They are the quiet masters of modern football, consistent, complete, and irreplaceable. Level 5, the superstar. This is where footballers become more than athletes. They become global icons. Superstars are the faces you see on magazine covers, adverts, and video game menus. Their goals go viral, their transfers crash social media. Their names alone can fill stadiums. But being a superstar isn't only about fame, it's about performing under a spotlight that never switches off. Players like Kylian Mbappe, Erling Haaland, Neymar Jr., Mohamed Salah, and Harry Kane are perfect examples. They score in Champions League knockouts, headline World Cups, and represent entire nations. Millions of fans copy their celebrations, wear their shirts, and track their every move. These players live in a world of constant expectation. Every performance is dissected by pundits, every reaction captured by cameras, and every post online reaches millions. When they play well, they're heroes. When they don't, the criticism is instant. They travel more, train harder, and play under more pressure than almost anyone else in sport. Their lives are full of distractions, sponsorships, interviews, brand deals, but they still produce week after week. Superstars are football's entertainers. They make the game exciting for the casual fan and inspiring for young players. Unlike the elite, who focus purely on results, superstars also represent emotion and identity. Neymar's creativity, Mbappe's explosive speed, Haaland's machine-like power, each one offers a unique style that defines an era. They're not just judged by numbers, they're judged by impact, the feeling they give when the ball is at their feet. But superstardom comes at a cost. Privacy disappears, injuries become global stories, every decision is debated endlessly, and maintaining that level of attention for a decade takes incredible mental strength. Still, this is the level that inspires the next generation. Superstars remind us why people fall in love with football: the emotion, the spectacle, the show. They connect fans from every country, language, and culture. And while the world argues about who's best, they just keep playing, because performing under pressure is what they do best. Level 6, the legend. Legends are the players who go beyond statistics. They're remembered not just for what they won, but for how they made people feel. When you think of a legend, you instantly picture moments. Zinedine Zidane's volley in the 2002 Champions League final. Ronaldinho's grin after making defenders look foolish. Andres Iniesta's calm finish that won Spain the World Cup. These moments live in football's collective memory, even decades later. Legends have already achieved everything: trophies, records, respect, and influence. But their greatness isn't only about medals, it's about meaning. They shaped how we see the game, they inspired a generation to play differently, to dream bigger. Each one brought something unique. Zidane combined elegance with control, a symbol of intelligence on the ball. Ronaldinho reminded us that football should be fun. Didier Drogba showed leadership, not just in matches, but in uniting people beyond the sport. Wayne Rooney, fiery and fearless, embodied raw English passion. Iker Casillas redefined goalkeeping through humility and consistency. Xavi and Iniesta changed the meaning of teamwork, showing that size and strength could never match chemistry and precision. Legends are universally respected, even by rivals. You might support a different team, but when you see clips of Ronaldinho or Zidane, you can't help but smile. They made football feel bigger than competition, they made it art. And that's what separates them from the elite or the superstars. Elites are consistent, superstars are famous, but legends, they become timeless. Even after retirement, their presence doesn't fade. They coach, inspire, or simply remind us what football once felt like. Every highlight video, every documentary, every young player's dream, it all connects back to them. When you talk about football's golden eras, you're really talking about the legends who defined them. They are the memories that never age. Level 7, the gods. At the very top of football, there's a level beyond trophies, beyond numbers, and even beyond debate. These are the players who didn't just play the game, they changed it forever. We call them the gods of football: Lionel Messi, Cristiano Ronaldo, Diego Maradona, Pele, and Ronaldo Nazario, the original R9. They are more than legends, they are symbols of greatness itself. Every generation argues about who's best, but deep down everyone knows these 5 exist on a different level. Each one represents a different form of perfection. Lionel Messi is the artist, the player who made football look effortless. He didn't just beat defenders, he bent reality. For almost 2 decades, he turned impossible angles into goals, and his 2022 World Cup win became the final chapter in a story that felt written by destiny. Cristiano Ronaldo is the machine, the embodiment of obsession, discipline, and evolution. Every record, every goal, every leap, all earned through relentless work. He proved that greatness isn't given, it's built. He changed how players train, recover, and compete, becoming football's most driven perfectionist. Diego Maradona was the rebel, a genius with flaws, emotion, and fire. He carried Argentina to World Cup glory in 1986, beating entire teams on his own. He showed the world that football could be art, passion, and chaos all at once. Even decades later, his hand of God goal and the run against England are part of football folklore. Pelé was the pioneer, the first global superstar of the sport. Before HD cameras and social media, he scored over 1,000 goals and lifted 3 World Cups. He gave football its universal language: joy, flair, and hope. Every generation since has chased the standard Pelé set. And then there's Ronaldo Nazario, known simply as R9, the original phenomenon. He moved like a dancer, struck like lightning, and smiled like he knew something the rest of the world didn't. At his peak, defenders couldn't even foul him. They couldn't catch him. 2 Ballon d'Ors, a World Cup Golden Boot, and the power to make fans gasp just by touching the ball. Injuries may have stopped his reign early, but for a few years, he looked superhuman, a footballing god in human form. These players transcended football. They inspired music, art, fashion, and generations of new stars. They became the faces of nations, the subjects of documentaries, and the reason millions fell in love with the sport. When they played, time slowed down. Crowds stood still. It didn't matter who you supported. You just watched, amazed. They remind us why football is called the beautiful game, because at its highest level, it isn't just sport, it's storytelling. And these 5 are the authors of its greatest chapters. Thank you for watching, and if you enjoyed this video, you will love this one.